Tonight on the news at 7. Tests as Southwest governors. Wife, children with the body of late NNPCL to complete test running of Port Harcourt refinery this month. Police arrest 8 suspects in connection with Plateau Christmas Eve killings. And from the foreign scene, heavy rain in regions and Germany. Thank you very much for joining us tonight in the news at 7 on Osrc television. I am Oyewumi Ayini Mera. The body of the late former governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, has arrived in Nigeria. The late governor's remains was brought into the country today from Germany, where he passed away. The body was received by his wife, Mrs. Betty Ayawa Akeredolu, his children and siblings led by Professor Wole Akeredolu, the immediate younger brother. Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented by his Chief of Staff, Mr. Tayo Ayinde, Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Tokunbo Talabi, and representative of Osun State Governor, Senator Demola Adeleke also joined in receiving the body. Chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC in Ondo State, Engineer Adiade Timei, a member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Wigadu Farati, and some members of the Ondo State Executive Council, led by the Secretary to the State Government, Princess Oladunyodu, were also present at the airport to receive the body of the former governor. Late Governor Akeredolu passed away in Germany on December 26, 2023. Details of the burial arrangements will be announced by the family at a later date. Nigeria has an upsetting number of children involved in child labor. The International Labour Organization, ILO, estimates that about 15 million Nigerian children are involved in child labor. In this special report, our reporter Joy Pius was on a fact-finding mission on the prevalence of child labor in cocoa plantations in Ondo State.
Ondo State is the largest cocoa producer in Nigeria, responsible for over 40% of all cocoa exports, with Ondo, Ile-Oluji, Idonre, Akure, Ogbese, Odigbo, and Owo leading other towns as major cocoa producer in Ondo State. According to a report from one-year investigation by African Law Foundation into the cocoa industry in Nigeria, with 5 major cocoa producing states of Ondo, Osun, Ogun, Oyo, and Cross River as case studies, forced labor in the Nigeria's cocoa sector remains common, widespread, and systemic. The investigation indicated that due to the fact that the population of rural Nigeria is poor, hired workers were vulnerable to exploitation as cocoa farm owners make use of out-of-school children to work on their farms, especially those between the ages of 10 and 17 years, with 64% of working children in cocoa farming below the age of 14.
Under the Labour Act, it is allowed for children. The only condition in which children can be employed is on light agricultural purposes. So we must note that there's an exception. Children can be employed for light agricultural purposes. Children cannot be employed in any company to work in any company other than for agricultural purpose. And when you are going to employ a child for agricultural purposes, number one, it must be the parent of the child. Not that the child is working for another person. Number two, the child must have the opportunity to return back home on each day. Number three, there must be a register in the premises showing the fact that there is a child who is working here and indicating the time the child resumes and the time the child also goes back. And such a child should not work more than 6 hours in a day. These are the laws that govern employment of children. So exploitation of children under any guise is not allowed. Even where you are allowed to employ young people, you are also not allowed to exploit them by not paying them.
This reporter went on a fact-finding mission to certain parts of Ondo State based on alleged reports that some cocoa farms engage in child labor. At Agamo, a town bordering Ijare, the community head confirmed that the practice of child labor on cocoa farms is not concocted from people's imaginations.
Ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ dáadáa. Owó tíyan bá mọ̀ tí ò bá jẹ́ kọ́mọ owó mọ̀ bẹ̀ wò yẹn á parẹ́ ni. Torí kò sẹ́ni tó fẹ́ gbé sáyé. Irú wa báyẹn. Ọmọ wa ní kòkó tiwọn, àwa náà ní tiwa.
We proceeded to one of Mr. Fagbemi Falodun's cocoa plantations, but had to stop here as our vehicle got stuck at this spot, only halfway into the farm. The roads to the farm are not motorable. We must now continue our journey to the farm on our host's motorcycle. Finally, at the farm, we met workers, mostly non-indigents, with an average age of 16. Mr. Falodun and a teacher in the community also confirmed that some farmers in the community indulge in the practice.
Parents, when they are farmers, so sometimes they used to engage the grown-up ones. So whenever they have farm work, so I think we cannot rule that. But sometimes we used to, whenever we have PT meeting, we used to tell them that such puppies should be released and they should be in the school. So we have prevailed to some reasonable extent.
Pa James Akimbode believes that the practice of child labor on cocoa farms is on the rise due to financial constraints and the rising cost of maintaining cocoa plantations.
The financial aspect is the aspect, the financial assistance. If the need for the rural areas, for helping them also to pay those laborers, it will be all right. Instead of me to employ about 4 laborers in my farm, now I employ 2. No, because of finance.
At this cocoa farm at Alade Idonri, we sighted young persons among the workers. While some of them are on the farm to assist their parents, Sam is a full-time worker who had to work to earn a living.
Mo kọ́ṣẹ́ but mo kàn ní help àwọn díẹ̀ àtúndé tá fi iṣẹ́ kòkó nìyẹn àtìgbà tí mo rẹ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ kòkó this 4 years tá ti iṣẹ́ kòkó tó wá ti parí iṣẹ́ wọ́n máa sanwó fún mi wọ́n dẹ̀ ti sanwó fún mi kèmí náà máa fi wá nǹkan ṣe náà.
My parent is a farmer, so I'm here to assist her. I don't want to be running about staying at home doing nothing.
For this farmer, the challenge faced by cocoa farmers are multifaceted and boils down to lack of finances to fund their operations. This, he claims, led many farmers to engage children so as to cut costs.
The absence of we not having money for chemical to spray or chemical to do one thing or the other and to hire laborers, we use our children